Good morning. We are back. Another episode from Harcum Holistic. Quintel Harcum, founder of Harcum Holistic, founder of Good Part and Company. And this is going to be episode 1. Before we did episode 0, that was just, a test run, to see how this recording during the driving situation goes. But listen, I'm ready to get to contenting, documenting my journey. I'll create some content later, but right now I'm just documenting. And today is my day of the week to open the cafe. It's like 6:30 right now, and I'm driving to pick up produce. So I pick up produce on Thursdays because we do juice pressing. We press juice on Thursday at our kitchen, and our delivery guy sometimes doesn't get our delivery to us until after 10 o'clock. And I like my juice press operator to come in by 10. So I don't really like to risk the produce not being there, so I just pick it up myself. And yeah, I got to get up a little earlier, but that's what you got to do when you own a business. When you're an entrepreneur, you just got to make all the things happen you need necessary to happen for your business. So I'm going to pick up produce. The great thing is, where I live now, like, I'll get into the story of it as we go throughout this journey, but where I live is like the perfect place between where I have to frequent to make purchases for my lifestyle and for the business, and between my actual business. So I only live about 2.5 miles from my cafe, and maybe 3 to 4 miles from the produce supplier, and it's a straight shot. Like, I can hop on the highway. It's only like 1 or 2 exits down, and boom, I'm right there. So it's pretty convenient. Our produce supplier has been in business in Baltimore for 92 years. This will make 93. So they kind of always inspire me. It's a family business. They've been around, all those years. They really reliable. They keep things old school. They still take checks. We don't even use checks nowadays. We use digital currency, and we on the crypto and stuff, and they still doing regular paper checks and cash only because they don't want to pay the extra fees. So I respect it. I'm gonna shoot down here real quick, pick up produce. So I'm picking up produce for the cafe and for our juice orders that we have this week. We got 2 juice cleanse orders, and I just told people if they order this week that they can just pick it up this Saturday. Be back in a second. So I just picked up my produce and headed to straight to the cafe. If I had time, I would stop past our juicing kitchen and drop off some stuff, but I'm gonna go straight to the cafe. So let's take it from the top. We're gonna talk about how and why I started Good Part and Company as I take this trip back uptown. So Good Part and Company started from another creative endeavor I had called Here Comes the Good Part, and that name just was too damn long, so it just didn't look good on anything. It didn't make for a good acronym. But anyway, that creative endeavor was me doing like special events, parties and stuff, because that was another life I came from, doing parties, and that was popping. I'll talk about that another time. But one day I was in one of my brunch parties, and the brunch place was popping, right? The actual venue was popping. It was one of our more mild type of joints. It wasn't whack, but it just wasn't hitting. I was downstairs and I had a drink, so I'm a little tipsy at the time. And I just thought, like, you know what? I'm about to start a juice bar, because I was getting a lot of love on my Instagram stories and Snapchat at the time about my smoothies that I was blending. I was like, I'm gonna start a juice bar. I want to do something that's a little more a part of my day-to-day, which is like living a plant-based lifestyle. This whole events, nightlife kind of drinks and stuff like that, that's not sustainable for me, my health, and what I want to be and who I want to be going forward, right? I don't want to have to always be out and about drinking and all that stuff. So I'm gonna start a juice bar, cut the name down to Good Part and Company, because I modeled that after a lot of other businesses and brands with the and company, so kind of like how you see law firms and things like that, where it's like a certain name and company, you know what, you've seen it, such and such and company. So I said, I'm gonna call it Good Part and Company. I know it's gonna be a multifaceted, healthy lifestyle brand. I'm gonna start with Good Part and Company, but I have skill sets in designs, fashion, merchandising, doing pop-ups and events and stuff like that. So we'll just build around the health part of it, right? And so it's all based on the belief that I have that a plant-based diet is optimal, for us, for humans, for our bodies, right? Optimal for performance and function, for the most part, as well as healing. So I'm like, all right, cool. That's what I'm rolling with. Once I decided that's what I was going to do, took me a little minute to get to it, but then I started writing a business plan, and then I went and got certified as a holistic nutritionist. That's because I always found the hardest way to do stuff. I like to have the information, but I really wanted to have a strong foundation and information around how to use plants or plant-based food to heal. You don't need that at all to start a juice bar. You just need to have good business acumen and be a part of the lifestyle for real. But I did it anyway, and then that's when I kind of had my foundation set as a nutritionist. So now I could coach, and to actually complete the program, you gotta take clients and coach people and stuff like that. So I did all that, but anyway, I figured out what I wanted to do, and that should not have been a part of the plan, if I'm being honest. But it was good for me, for the plan for my life. I didn't need it for the plan to start my juice bar. But anyway, I wrote my business plan. I had written a business plan before that failed for a menswear store, right? Like I said, I was in fashion. I written a business plan. The plan was decent, but I don't think I had enough experience, and it wasn't enough proof that they was going to get their money in return from the program that I was trying to get the loan from. But anyway, I took everything I learned from that business plan, used the same template, rolled it over to the Good Part and Company business plan. I'm 7, 8, probably 9 years later. Let me see, I went for that in 2014. So I'm only 4 or 5 years later. I thought it was longer than that. 5 years later, I'm back with another business plan. And I had already nurtured relationships with the bank. I got better credit. I got more time in on multiple banks now. So now I got options as far as trying to get funding. And I knew I was going to a bank to do this. I wasn't going to investors. I didn't think about that at the time. But wrote my business plan. I really studied the juice industry, the smoothie industry, figured out what was going on, saw the health trend going up, saw other successful businesses, other successful juice bars in Baltimore, kind of modeled my setup after theirs, and then put my own spin on all of it as far as branding is concerned. And I was like, yeah, that's what we doing, man, because it's the best way for me to just start working in what it is that I like the most. Now, once I had the business plan, or before I finished my business plan, I was like, y'all need proof of concept. I always like to do my events. I like to do creative stuff. So I said, I'm doing a pop-up. I did the pop-up in my apartment. I just moved in my apartment a few months prior. So it was still kind of empty. So I still could it was still blank and bare enough, like a canvas for me to visualize how to set up. And I always loved the appeal of a really great curated setup storefront, right? Retail, pop-up shop, all these things I experienced in the time I was working in fashion and doing some behind-the-scenes blogging and stuff like that, right? So I set up my apartment, boom. I said I made up some juice recipes because now I got my little new certification. I know a little thing or two about what to put together. So I make a menu. I went and bought a little chalkboard, put it up in my house with the menu, designed some merchandise because I was doing fashion design. So I designed some merch. It was all colorful, based around the colors of the juice and stuff that I was making. Made my menu, made names, made creative names for my juice. I'm gonna name all of my juices after stuff in Baltimore. So I named them after different streets and different places that people in Baltimore would recognize. And the thing about it is that seems very local, but as the brand expands, that can still scale because now I'm sharing a part of my world and part of our world as Baltimoreans with the rest of the world. So that didn't scare me. You need most businesses, most juice businesses and smoothies places, they're going to name their juices and smoothies after the color or the ingredient or the benefit, which is great because that's good sales, that's built-in marketing for what the item does for you. But I'm approaching it from a lifestyle brand perspective, so I'm taking the lifestyle that I live, know, and others can relate to the world. So that's that on that. But I did the pop-ups. I did the pop-up in my house 3 months, and then I was like, I'm ready to take this out to the street, because I had other pop-ups in different parts of the city. I said I want to take this juice thing somewhere else, so I went to another place in my neighborhood. It's a little local market. What Baltimore is famous for its local market. So I went to Holland Street Market. That market isn't really popping like that, but they rebuilding it. They revitalizing that area. So they had a little storefront around there. I was like, yo, can I rent this storefront? They was like, yeah, sure, but this building is for sale. It's up for lease. So if somebody comes in and lease it, they get first dibs over your 1-2 day rental. It's like, all right, bet. So I started prepping it. Somebody came, picked up the lease. If you come to find out, it was an actual juice bar. So I don't know if they went and told somebody else my idea, which is what I believe they did. But anyway, I went on ahead. It was during Memorial Day weekend, so it was like a big weekend. No, Labor Day weekend, and then that's also the same weekend it was Memorial Day weekend, and that's the same weekend that they have this big like festival and stuff down by that market. But anyway, I went on ahead with my pop-up, had it in my apartment. People pulled up. Like, I literally took everything out of my living room, moved it into my bedroom, whatever the stuff I had, and then I just set up the living room like a showroom. Had all of the merch displayed on my rolling racks from back in the day, shelving, like my little fashion books and stuff out. And then on the other side, and like health books, on the other side I had the menu on the wall, and I was literally in my kitchen, right? My kitchen is attached to the living room. I'm just literally in there making juice through my at that time I had the slow masticating juices. So I'm making juice, I'm just doing my thing, made a couple dollars, I bought all the stuff I needed to have, cups, straws, cup holders, all that. People really came through and showed love, man. That shit wore me out though, right? So, but it was proof of concept, like, okay, people, rocking with this. They like the merchandise, they like the juice, they like to see what I'm doing. They know that I've been plant-based at this time for, 6-7 years. So I was like, man, this is my thing. I'm trying to be in this space because this is what I do on a regular. Like, I do this daily. The plant-based thing, working, staying on top of my health and sharing, being that touch point for my friends about plant-based foods, vegetarian diets, veganism, things like that. So, went on the hill through my business plan, had my good old day job, finally got that joint done. I was sweating because it's difficult when you're doing business plans. You need money to have a storefront, but you need storefront to get money. It's a lot of back and forth, a lot of things you just don't know, and you got to fill in the blanks. And I filled them damn blanks in. And so I got approved. I was going up with 2 banks. One bank I had the longest relationship with, but the bank I got approved by, and then I actually accepted the loan from, is a black bank here in Baltimore, the Harbor Bank of Maryland. And I was really happy, and I wanted to keep the business, in the community if I could, and I did. So I got my loan, and we started Good Part Company. And it's a whole lot that happened since then. That was in 2019. In September 2019, August 2019, I got approved, and we've been rolling since then. And it's been a blessing. There's been a bunch of ups and downs and stuff like that, but I'm here. And up until today, I'm still doing stuff like picking up produce. I don't always want to have to do this, but I don't have to do this every day. So I created systems and stuff like that to help make it easier. I get it delivered. Even when we got our new location, I get it delivered there. It used to be a produce supplier really close to my house where I used to live. So again, I'm fortunate enough to have things like that really close. Have like suppliers really close, so I can just navigate through the city better and do things in a really timely manner. Or if I gotta rush and get something done, I can do that. But that place closed down. That was another monkey wrench. That was wild. I don't even know what happened. They just instantly closed. So I always had to go to this guy or set up a new account. Because you always want to have multiple produce suppliers. We'll talk about that as we talk about more entrepreneurship stuff. I just wanted to talk about how we really got into starting Good Part Company, just based off my passion and understanding and knowledge for living a plant-based diet, living a plant-based lifestyle, eating a plant-based diet, and sharing and offering that with others. And the reason why I did the pop-ups, just to go back in my community, in my apartment, is because I felt like juice was the easiest. Juice and smoothies were the easiest thing I could get for people to get into a plant-based diet. It's the easiest thing I could offer to get people into a plant-based diet, because everybody has a juice or a smoothie that they like or that they can get into. It's really just not that difficult, right? So they may not like quinoa or some kind of kale salad, but they can drink it as a juice. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot more appetizing or just easier to digest that way. You can mask it with some fruit and some flavor and stuff like that. So that's how I rock with it. And that worked. That was good marketing. And now I can bring people up to speed to, different types of ingredients and different types of foods and different types of plant-based food offerings by easing them into it, right? Because I gave them the juice. Not, I like to say you put the medicine in the candy. So juice and smoothies is the candy. all of the health benefits you get from just adding one more plant-based item to your diet, a day is the medicine. So yeah, we rolling. That's episode 1. I'm gonna wrap from here, and I'm on my way to the cafe. I'm gonna drop off this produce and open up. So follow Good Part and Company at Good Part and Co on Instagram. You can also follow me, of course, at Holcomb Holistic on Instagram. You can follow Good Part and Company on YouTube as well. Like and subscribe on this channel, and I will see you in the next episode.